All right. Fat man walking next to a fat bike. Episode 38, Tuscobia, 80, 2019. I'm soaked to the bone and I've taken 2 really hard falls. I don't think I'm hurt, but I'm really uncomfortable. I'm walking my bike for a bit because staying still, I'm just gonna get cold. This rain's a real kick in the toots. Ugh. The trail went from awesome and fast to slightly squirrely to now it's super squirrely. I got aired down my tires a lot. I'm gonna air them down some more. Yeah. So I figured since I was walking, I could do this. It was always gonna be an adventure. All right, so it's December 29th? 28th, Saturday. I'm in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. It's, I'm in Park Falls, jeez. I didn't sleep much last night. I'm in Park Falls, beautiful little town. Bathrooms in the Quick Trip are primo. Totally suggest them. Oh my gosh. We're about an hour and 20 minutes from the Tuscobia 80 start. It's a bad weather front moving in, so it's going to be freezing rain and snow, and then really heavy rain later in the afternoon. So it's not ideal. This was always going to be an adventure, so it's not a showstopper. It's just part of it. The 160 foot people left yesterday morning at 6 a.m. We saw a couple of them here in Park Falls coming in and off the trail, which is super cool. And the 160 bikers started at 6 a.m. So just over 2.5 hours ago, they're heading here and then they turn around and go back. Yeah, it's I've got nerves. My tummy's a little unhappy, but that's part of it. It's gonna be okay. I've got everything prepped. Right now, the thing I'm most proud of is I've still got room in my bags, which I kind of didn't expect. And I've got more than enough calories. I've got water. I've got electrolytes. I tested the trail last night. It was good. I'm sure the conditions are going to deteriorate over time, but that's just part of it. So I just wanted to do a little pre-race. I feel good. I think it's going to be a good ride. Well, this ain't frickin' ideal. Okay, it's light's starting to go away, so I thought I'd record this really quick. I'm in a better place. Made it to winter. Had an emotional breakdown. My wife was very patient. Didn't help me. Just told me to regroup.
I want to be in it.
You should. Hey.
Hi. Hey.
That's first place 160. So he's oh man, you okay? I just had to reseat my tire. Yeah. Have fun. I'll see you probably at the end. Yep. All right. That's Neil Belchenko. He's a pro rider for Salsa, maybe 45 North. I'm not sure. And I got boogies. Okay. Yeah, so adventures. I got way too hot, so I stripped down to I replaced my base layer in winter. Switched jackets, obviously. That stuff was soaked all the way through. Pants are doing pretty good. Butt's a little wet, but I've gone down so many times at this point that it could be that. Put on the Polar Tech buff. Oh man, I don't want to talk about gear anymore. All right, so here it is. I don't know if I'm quitting or not, and that bugs me. And conditions are terrible. My emotional breakdown in winter was because I thought it was 5 miles, and it took me a little over 2 hours to make it, and it was 9.5 miles. Got a runner. Howdy, howdy.
Even the pros crash.
Yeah.
I bet that made him happy.
Yeah. So, runner. So I don't know. The rain has started. So I got my rain jacket on and I'm venting as much as I can while protecting my core from getting wet as much as I can. Oh man. This has been humbling. Stop, continue. Either way, I feel like all the insulation got stripped, and I'm just a twitching wire. It's gorgeous. I love this country. You should see this. See if we can get the trail. Oh, big open plains. Oh, area. Yeah, I don't think I broke a rib, but I have at least a couple that are pretty pissed off. It's the best part. This is a privilege. The gear is expensive. The locations are remote. The time and dedication necessary to make this happen, all of it's expensive. And it's a lot of weight to carry, but it's just the way it is. I don't know. Either way, I'm glad I came out. Also glad I didn't fall all the way down the ravine. I took a picture of the bike and GoPro effect, I guess. I swear it was the scariest thing ever, and it just looks like I barely. But if you ever want to see a 6'4", 300-pound, 315, I have no idea how much I weigh right now, pound man go rolling across a snowmobile trail, that was a pretty good time. Or at least memorable. Oh, is that trash? No, that's not trash. I'll pack it out, even if it's not mine. All right, well, I'm gonna enjoy the last of this light before I have to start snapping on headlights and headlamps and all that fun stuff. Kind of hoping for a clear patch here so I can actually pedal some more. Stay excellent. All right, so scratched the halfway point, the Ojibwe. Just gonna do a quick rundown of the race as I best remember it while it's still fresh in my head. Things that went great. I feel funny saying it, but going to the quick trip in Park Falls to go to do a number 2 was definitely the right choice. Scouting the route from the city hall to the trail did a lot for it to help settle me. And a couple things that didn't go right. I brought 2 pairs of goggles because I was paranoid, and I have 1 pair that's really good. They're Oakley's with persimmon lenses, really good in flat light for increasing contrast. And I have a pair of Anons that are darker brown, still really good for contrast, but for brighter conditions. And I grabbed the wrong pair when I left the hotel. Upside, I didn't hesitate. I ripped all the foam. I hadn't modified these ones yet, so I ripped all the foam out to increase the breathability. Didn't bother me as much as I expected it to. I kind of just, there's my finger. Kind of just did the thing. So no gun. They just say go, and when we were lining up to get going, at this moment I was like, what the F am I doing? Why am I here? I don't deserve to be here. I don't want to do this. And the race actually started, and all the bikes are moving, and I wasn't moving yet. And Rachel was watching me, wondering what was going on, and I was literally having this like mini freak out crisis. And but I got moving, and it took me all of maybe 10 feet, and all of that went away, and I felt great. You get on the trail in Park Falls, and it's about 2 miles to the first major highway crossing. And so I just took that 2 miles, didn't pass anybody, just set my cadence and let myself get warmed up, make sure all my gear felt good. I'd done enough shakedown rides and stuff like that like I wasn't really questioning my configuration and setup. It was just more about settling in for the day. After that first crossing, I started passing people. Benefit and challenge of being single speed is there are definitely momentum points where certain cadences feel much better because the bike's just responding better. Which means at slower speeds, I actually tend to go faster than a lot of people. Not fast and speedy like the front of the pack guys, but definitely faster than the back of the pack. And so I held, 9-10 miles an hour for the first 10 miles easy. And then it started to rain, and things slowed down quite a bit. 2 massive gullies coming out of Park Falls that was awesome, and I managed to actually bike up the first one, and considering that I live in like one of the flattest parts of the country, I'm a little proud of. And second gully, there's the person in front of me I happen to know had completed the course several times, and so he really started dragging on his brakes, and so I figured, he probably knows what he's doing. And there was a lady in front of him, and she bombed it. And there were these massive moguls at the bottom that were 2 to 3 feet tall, and she ended up face planting. Didn't get hurt. Actually had a GoPro with her, so I'm hoping she puts the video up and I fight it, because it's YouTube gold. And first 20 miles were magic. Just heart was good. Had my layers wide open. I was running just a headband. Like, yeah, everything was great. Heart rate was good. I wasn't gassing out. Legs felt good. Hips felt good. Saw Rachel and Loretta Draper. Said hi to her, and had a moment where I was trying to be, supportive, and because it's roles reversal. I'm normally the guy waiting for her, not her waiting for me. And she was like, you don't have to hang out. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm racing. So I jumped back on the trail and got going again. And It goes Loretta Draper to Winter, Wisconsin. It's 10 miles. I thought it was only 5. And there's a section where you kind of get up, and I'm sure if I see it again, it won't seem as extreme as it did at the time, but it started to rain, and snow conditions went to just crap. And I would be cruising along, riding in the trail of the people who went before me, and then occasionally back of my bike would fishtail really hard, and so I'd have to correct to keep from going down. And I hadn't fallen yet, and I knew I was going to fall during the day. That's just kind of a given. But I was biking along a ravine, and my bike goosed really hard into the ravine, and all I could see was big, sharp, pointy sticks all the way down into the bottom of this, probably just a small gully. And so I bailed hard. Hard enough I actually rolled across the trail. Thank you, a couple years of jiu-jitsu for teaching me that. But I landed on my reflective harness buckle, hit my phone, which jabbed me in the chest. And I don't think I broke a rib, but I can't take deep breaths. Laughing hurts, and I was spooked. And I mean, that's really, and academically, I knew that like I needed to take care of things right then. I should have changed out layers right then. Just taking a moment to like really get myself gathered, because I was getting wet, or I was getting soaked. That's wet's just not strong enough of a word. Yeah, but I didn't. I just I was go mindset, and noticed that the deeper breaths I was taking, the more it hurt. And then every time the bike would goose, my entire core would tense up, which would make my ribs hurt. And so I started going into a kind of a dark place, and then I fell on my left side, or my right side. I hurt my rib on the left side. I fell on my right side, pretty hard, and it just seemed like I wasn't moving. I was a little weirded out because people weren't passing me. I was expecting, I felt like I was so slow. And then I fell again really hard, again on my left side. I knew my left flank was getting pretty beat up, and I felt like maybe I was going 2 miles an hour, and emotionally I was in a super, super dark place. Felt like a complete and abject failure. And I made it to Winter. And coming into Winter, there's this S-bend in the trail, and snowmobile traffic was really heavy on the trail. But in that section in particular, the snowmobiles were hitting it going probably 40, 50 miles an hour and drifting through the corners. And I'm trying to push my bike out of the way as best as I can, but those guys aren't in full control of their sleds. So that was pretty terrifying. And Rachel was waiting for me in Winter to say hi, and I was falling apart, and I apologized for how long it took me to get there. She pointed out it was 10 miles, not 5, and with that meant I was only 5 miles basically to the midway point. 5 miles? 5 miles? A little over 5 miles. And so I there was a gas station across the highway, and so I went, stashed the bike out of the rain, changed out my layers, drank a Coke. I don't know what it's about endurance athletics. I don't drink pop ever, but Coca-Cola, man, it's magical during these races. And took I don't know, probably too long, but it took a while to kind of just emotionally recenter myself. It was only 5 miles from the midpoint, so there was just no way I was going to stop. And so I didn't. I dropped a bunch of tire pressure in my tires, which I should have done way before, and got back out on the trail. And the winter to the midway point to Ojibwe was some of the most awesomely, epically terrible riding I've had ever. Like, I came out of the darkness, and just I was loving the scenery. I was only able to bike maybe 500-600 yards out of every mile, and then the rest it was walking. I was trying really hard not to fall, just because I already beat myself up pretty good, and I was having trouble with my breathing. And but the marching the bike in those soft, squishy conditions was starting to take a toll on my hips and my back. And I really, when I got to winter, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit, and I would have been ashamed to have quit, but I wanted to. Between winter and Ojibwe, I didn't want to quit. I wanted to figure out how to make the math work. And I was able to just stuff the emotions down long enough. And I took a cup of soup when I was there. And the condition I was in, I didn't see how I could make it to the end safely. It was going to be, the heavy rain hadn't even started yet, and I was looking at probably another 15 hours, give or take, to finish. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, I don't know. And so I felt like stopping there where there were volunteers and communications all set up was the best play to do. I tried really hard to figure out how to make it work, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out how to do it without crippling myself somewhere along the way, and I don't want to be that guy. So that sucks. I'll be back next year. Hopefully it'll be cold next year. But I've got some ideas on how to train for this so that I'm stronger, more capable. Going to do a lot more hiking, so that if I have to hike a bike 80 miles, I can hike a bike 80 miles. Wouldn't want to do that, but I want to be able to do that. Bike, perfect. Mind-blowingly great. My brakes got packed with snow during a couple of the crashes, and they cleared themselves really nicely. They didn't frost up. They operated perfectly. Geometry, bike fit, perfect. The belt drive, for a single speed, if you're a single speeder and you want to ride fat bike, I cannot recommend belt drive high enough. So bulletproof, it transmits torque in a really tangibly improved way, and that was great. Until winter, I did stay no carb or low carb. I took 2 nut butters and a couple pieces of cheese and pork stick. And that was fantastic. Food was good. I was actually eating. Typically when I get into these things, I don't want to eat, but I made myself kind of develop the habit of at least every 2 hours, and it fed into the I forgot about some food I had on my bike, but my other concern was if I was going to be out that long past Ojibwe, I wasn't sure I had enough food to be able to eat freely, and I would have to start rationing, which is just, these are all things that are costs that build up. So food, great, totally doing it again. I wouldn't change a thing. Water, 2 quarts for this race, 2 quarts to get to the midway point's fine. I was drinking way more because my heart rate when the snow got really soft, my average heart rate jumped almost 30 beats per minute. And typically on the bike, I'm like a metronome. You know, outside of like climbing and a few other things, but like, so yeah, very good. My Black Diamond Mission pants, incredible, and they should be for their retail cost. An insanely incredible piece of gear. Stayed dry, they breathed, my legs were perfect. My Keen 40 below winter boots, great. They were great. First set of upper body stuff I had was a Lululemon vent shirt and my Marmot ROM soft shell. It worked really well. But that Marmot is not water resistant. In a light rain, I'm sure it's fine. In these conditions, it was soaked through within 2 hours. And I mean, it was really cool when it would stop raining. You could literally see the steam just rolling off my body as my body was, causing the water to evaporate, which is kind of cool. I switched to a Capilene thermal top because I was having trouble regulating my body temperature, and just a rain jacket. Because I knew as soon as if I could get back on the bike and start pedaling again in the conditions with my heart rate where I was averaging, I put out a serious amount of BTUs, so I wanted to stay dry, and that worked pretty well. A better, more breathable rain jacket would be good, or maybe a technical hard shell but like I'm just not sure when I'd actually need it outside of these extraordinary conditions. Wife she's driving. It's awesome. She's been great, super supportive. Did not help me one lick, which sounds weird, but I couldn't ask for anything better. She's not supposed to help me. She didn't encourage me to quit. In fact, she kept asking me if I could make it 5 more miles. So it was a wonderful, awful, epic, terrible, hard, gorgeous day. And I am so glad I did it. How much would have rather finished. Riders that we know that have done things like ITI, they didn't make it. They dropped. So I'm confident I made the right decision. I'm hella proud I made it 40 miles. I really am. So Tuscobia 80 2019. I DNF'd. We laugh because it's kind of a family tradition for first winter ultras. My wife's first winter ultra was up at the Arrowhead, and it snowed 2 feet during her first race. She's short, she got little legs, and so she basically had to do lunges to make it in other people's footsteps for miles, and blew up, and ended up camped out underneath the pine tree with 2 other guys in their bivvies. I think one of them had pizza and had to wait 8 hours for a sled ride out, and so of course my first winter ultra, it's December in northern Wisconsin, and it was 36 degrees, and there was thunder last night. It was like the rain last night after we got back to the hotel was horrendous. So I'm gonna try not to laugh or anything for a few days while my rib heals up, and but I literally cannot wait to get back on the bike. It's gonna be a good year. I can feel it, and I'll bring you guys along for the adventure as much as I can. So Jeremiah, Fat Man, Fat Bike, stay excellent, be smart.